Okay, so we've taken care of the breaths and we've taken care of the plosives, all very carefully to make sure we haven't lost the clarity of what the singer is trying to say and keeping intact with, the way the voice sounds naturally without it sounding too artificial. So at this point, arguably this next phase can really be part of the mixing phase, but I often like to include it, at least the first part of it, in the editing phase, just to assure that the mixing phase can go really smoothly. So now we're going to focus on the sibilance, so the S's and the sh sounds. And we're only going to focus for the ones that really start to that peak out here, or maybe they're too long or they might sound a little bit distorted or something. So I'm going to roll through and just listen.
You are a chalk, and I could be the blackboard. You could be the talk, and I could be the walk. Even when the sky comes falling, even when the sun don't shine.
Okay, so let's take a look at sky comes falling, right? So if we were going to control some of those, because they're pretty vibrant, if you will, and they could equate to being harsh when we add more compression in the mix phase. We could use a de-esser, right? But the idea here is to not rely on plugins from the get-go, at this point at least. So I'm going to show you how to do it without that. So
even when the sky,
zoom in, find just the S.
Sky.
So we can hear the end of the.
Sky.
And we want it to where.
Sky.
Okay, cool. We can't hear that. I'm going to trim that. I'm going to trim the end of it, right? This is the S here.
Sky.
I'm going to double click that clip. I'm just going to go in clip and I'm going to bring it down about 3 dB for starters, right? I like to think in increments of 3 until I get to the close audible range, then I can fine tune it from there. You don't have to do it via clip like this. You could go in and you could select the volume and you could automate the volume. But I don't recommend that in the editing stage, because then you're really getting into the steps of mixing. And if you start to automate the volume at very particular parts, you're going to have to automate the whole thing if you just want to turn the whole thing up or down. You could also go into plugins and you could do a utility, and we could add it on this track here. And with that utility, we could automate the gain here. But again, let's save any sort of automation in that light for the mixing stage, all right? And let's just go back to at the clip level, okay? Because we're just editing just the waveform here.
When the sky comes falling.
Okay, so that brought it down. It's a little bit less harsh from the get-go.
Even when the sun don't shine.
Let's do sun and shine.
Sun.
Okay. Trim that. Let's kick it down about 3 dB. Okay, see how that sounds.
When the sun don't shine.
Okay, shine's not that bad, but let's just do it for the sake of the example.
Shine.
Now, again, some tracks you get are going to be way more obvious that you need to turn the S's down, and some aren't. This one is not bad at all. So I probably wouldn't even waste my time doing too much of this, but for the sake of giving examples, that it is a vital step when you can audibly hear harsh sibilance peeking through.
Don't shine. I got faith in you and I. Just put your pretty little hand in mine. Even when we're down to the wire, baby. Even when it's do or die. We could do it, baby, simple and plain. 'Cause this love is a sure thing.
Okay.
Sure.
Maybe there we'll do the same. Really zoom in there and let's be particular. Cut it down about 3 dB, give it a listen. Again, 3 dB is just what I start with, but you might need less or more than that.
This love is a sure thing.
Okay, cool. The key is to make sure you refine it. So if that was too narrow of a cut, we can bring it out to find the beginning of that sh,
sure thing, sure.
Which that brought in the ending of the previous word, and we don't want that to happen. Okay, so I want you to go through and use this and practice on some vocal tracks that you have, and we'll continue on from here.